So we can see how these people have no limits, and with this BSDM is basically about story writing. So they want to make the story bigger, and they look for a bigger and bigger high. So this is kind of like a broken windows theory, where because none of the old stuff is ever getting punished, and really with the medical setting, it's not like a broken window. It's like the nuclear bombs have gone off and no one has done anything to punish these people, so they just get worse and worse and worse. So see, I am, and what happened is, as a 42-year-old man, I get a BSDM crime done to me, and I didn't even have much interaction with. It wasn't like I was at a hospital or anything, or I wasn't even in any kind of situation where I had to be naked or unconscious or any of those things. I'm just getting a simple standard doctor's office visit. It's at the neurology practice owned by Innova in Northern Virginia, and this is in January of 2013. And I was just looking for a quick, cheap neurologist. I needed a report for workplace accommodations, and I didn't even really need actual medical treatment itself. So anyway, I found this Dr. Sonali Kulkarni, who practices at their office, and I guess no wonder she was quick and cheap, because I think what's been going on with her is she's been around for a while, and so she's been around for a while. She seems to be very smart. She keeps, but no one seems to want to add her to their practice. But I think she's just kind of like not a good doctor, but she's very good in her studies, and she goes and gets more and more certifications and stuff like that. So I guess she has good credentials, but she's essentially a loser in her profession. So, and what I find from a 2015 labor case in Innova, it shows that with their pediatric surgery, this is even pediatric surgery, and we can kind of see how they do sex crimes against kids. So, what it said is, and actually the case is actually about two, female nurses making the complaint that their own, so it's not like they were complaining about kind of like sexual harassment. What they were complaining about is that their raunchy language was punished, and what other nurses did, the raunchy language of other nurses were not punished. So the things that came out is, in pediatric surgery, the head of surgery, he's a man, Dr. Seneca, and it says that he would curse like a sailor, and he put naked pinups of women on the ceiling of the operating room, and so there was, the type of environment was where a young nurse was passing around topless photos of herself. So these people really have no control and no discipline, and who's going to punish them? Because so that's because they get away with everything. So what Dr. Kulkarni did is, well, she's really behind on her career. Well, she's really not making it. She got like somehow a position at this Innova office, but she's going to be stuck like taking care of the worst kind of, like the really poor stroke patients, and kind of working in the middle of the night. She's really doesn't have the kind of job she thought she would. So what she does is, whether she really was somewhat turned on during the visit, which I don't think. I think she kind of made the whole thing up. So, essentially, she took my she took my 30-minute visit and she extended it to 90 minutes. And she was really, you could kind of say she was running around as though she's in heat, and I think it was kind of like, I don't think it was so naturally occurring. I think she kind of made it up to kind of make a reputation for herself at that place in Nova, because the other people were doing stuff like that. So, and it came coincidental because at the same time I was a patient. Well, when we say patient, come on, I'm not getting like medical care in a hospital. It's just a doctor's office, so I'm more like a customer there. So anyway, while she kept me there for 90 minutes, it just so happened coincidentally that one of her stroke patients, who's in really bad shape, was in the lobby waiting for their appointment, and they needed help right away. And Dr. Kulkarni not really delayed their appointment, but that person actually needed help even while my appointment was going on. So the family was, really upset, and the employees were really upset because the employees kept running up to the door and trying to get Dr. Kulkarni to help her stroke patient out. But Dr. Kulkarni kept angrily shutting the door, and she was making all those people suffer out there. At the same time, inside the office on this side, she was really overly friendly to me. And that was like her version of a date. So she used all this, and I guess she embellished and said whatever went on. Nothing really went on in there other than her being overly friendly. And so to make a reputation for herself, and I think then the evil crime got formed, and Dr. Kulkarni herself, it looks like she helped form that crime, because it was going to get her rewarded. So eventually she would get rewarded with the positions that she was entirely unqualified for. One of them, now she's a loser in her position, and she got rewarded with the position at VCU Medical School, which is a mentorship type position where she's supposed to mentor medical students. And this is the kind of thing where you have to be a successful neurologist to do that, because you're trying to get these young neurologists to become, a success, to go into the neurology field. So why would you want a loser doing that? That's the last person you have. So she was really doing this. She really found out what works in that place is, now she could have she could have dressed more provocatively, and I guess she could have had sex with the male doctors, and maybe that would have gotten a jump start for her career. But anyway, Dr. Kulkarni at the time, I'm a 42-year-old Indian man, and she's a 45-year-old Indian woman, a Brahmin. She's married to another doctor, and she has 2 daughters, and she's mousy looking and nerdy looking. Sex is the last thing you connect to her, and I don't really think she's really all interested in sex. It was just she created this thing because that's the kind of thing that's I guess in the place she practices medicine. It's not about giving a patient good medical care or the best doctors getting positions. It seems what's important in that place is someone essentially being a pervert. So I think then they came up with this scheme. So they sent me. Now this is Dr. Kulkarni. She had complete control. Now I know the white male doctors there at Innova, they got together and they formed this scheme. So they sent me to Capital Imaging in Bethesda to get an MRI test that includes a contrast injection. And this place literally looks, now it sits right next to NIH, but it looks literally like a dungeon because it sits in the basement of an otherwise unoccupied building. And what's going on at Capital Imaging is it's actually organized to do a variety of fraud schemes, and the biggest of these fraud schemes is making false reports for unneeded back surgeries by the principal owner, who is Dr. Jeff Jacobson. And the surgeries get done at Suburban Hospital, so they and Johns Hopkins also makes money. So, and Dr. Jacobson is the exact same brain surgeon who is given credit for reducing fluid accumulating in the brain of White House Press Secretary James Brady, using non-cutting means and keeping him alive in the initial hours. So in the next video, I'll tell you what they did to me when I got to that place.